have with us Mr. Lee Hao Zhuang, President of FW Insurance. I'll pronounce that properly. He is Senior Executive, over 25 years experience in financial services and consulting across Asia, the Middle East, UK, and US, specializes in sales distribution and transformation, corporate strategy, marketing, customer insights, change management, and so on. He currently leads us, the CEO of FWD Insurance, a customer-led and highly digital insurance experience present in 9 countries in Asia. Mr. Lee Hao Zhuang, would you mind opening your microphone? Since you need to go, I will just ask one question from you, and this is more on the macro topic. The macro topic is, what active role can you take, or your company is actually taking, in helping reduce the digital divide in the country and create a more conducive environment for the digital economy to flourish?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Ida, and thanks for having me here today. And to your question, which is, reducing the digital divide, what we're really looking at from an insurance point of view is actually bridging the huge protection gap in the Philippines. And actually, the correlation between the digital divide and protection gap is highly correlated. And at the moment, in Philippines, only 1.7% of Filipinos have insurance. So our mission is really to protect and save the lives of all Filipinos. And we do so through digital innovations in 3 main ways. The first one actually is, expanding our customer reach digitally. We were the first insurer to make 100% of our products digitally available when the country locked down. So this ensures that we have a contactless way of engaging and selling to our customers, and so they can get protected without having to meet us physically. We also created a digital-only policies. They're smaller policies that expand the reach during this pandemic to more Filipinos. And in fact, during the pandemic, we actually recorded a 30 times increase in the number of policies sold because, number one, they recognized they needed the insurance. Number two, actually, they find that they have a way to get insured without having to meet face-to-face. The second thing that we really wanted to do and to address the key challenge during the pandemic and the digital divide was really to enhance our customer service digitally. So we, even during the midst of the pandemic, we actually added our offering. So number one is our award-winning tab applications allows us to connect to our customers digitally and transact with us anytime, anywhere. And our live chats are actually available 24/7. And we recently launched, Frankie, which is an AI-powered natural language call bot. So actually, people don't know that they feel like it's a call from a call center, but actually it's done by AI chatbots. And for that, Forrester awarded us #1 in customer experience, and we recorded a 20% increase in Net Promoter Score during the lockdown. And third and final part of our key strategy in bridging this digital divide is really creating employment and changing how we work digitally. So we are blessed, or we continue to offer a meaningful careers for especially our advisors, while many sectors in the Philippines are actually facing massive underemployment. Right? Our advisors have, some of the industry's most advanced digital tools to seek and serve their clients safely and remotely. And they can actually run their entire business and advisory just from their mobile phone. They don't actually have to come back to the office. And for our staff, we have remote capability, 100% remote capability right from day one. And actually, we can continue indefinitely if we want to. So this pandemic actually brought to bear, actually help us rethink how we can actually work. It really help us question the whole notion of work. And we're making changes for it to allow our staff to operate anywhere and when they feel safe. So finally, just a little shout out. We are really excited to share our game-changing new initiative we call Affiliate App. This is a means for a C2C interaction where we open up the sharing of financial knowledge and protection to anyone. And as a customer, as someone from a member of public, you get rewarded for just sharing information about what insurance is. You can share, protect your loved ones, and earn rewards for doing so. So in summary, what we do at FWD to bridge the digital and protection divide, it's really through, number one, digital customer reach, number two, digital customer service, and number three, new ways of working digitally. So that's kind of my pretty long-winded answer to your question. I hope it addresses it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lee. People are actually talking about InsurTech, and people think that InsurTech is limited as to the payments. I know you have to leave, but
it's okay. I can spend a couple more minutes. Yes.
Yeah. Could you stay a couple more minutes? In fact, now that you mentioned that you have the three, you have the chatbot AI, which is sounding like a normal human person. You have your advisory, and you do work remotely. What else? What else is up your sleeves? What else are we looking in the future? Since our topic is actually the outlook, the future outlook. What else would we be expecting from FWD Insurance?
I think it's always back to the fundamentals, right? If you look at what our mission is, number one is to change the way people feel about insurance. Number two is to reach our coverage and our protection to as many Filipinos as quickly, as cheaply, as effectively as possible. So the innovations will come from a few areas. Number one, customer experience excellence. Number two, distribution excellence. Number three, operational excellence. And number four, our staff benefit or our staff engagement excellence. So it will be along these four lines. Each of the four pillars are equally important, and we can't have one without the other. So we have demonstrated customer experience excellence in terms of the way we reach out digitally. And like what I said, the affiliate will be, I think, a new frontier in what we open up, because it allows a massively new propagation of not only sales leads, but the education of the public of what they need to get covered. And it's a C2C platform. Basically, as a customer, you just sign up, and then you get loyalty points, and you get rewarded for sharing. And if there's a sales that is that happens, you get even rewarded more. So people have incentive to spread the news about protection, and that's what we want to do to get as many Filipinos as covered as possible. And obviously, on the distribution and the operational side, we continue to push the boundaries of how we can speed up the efficiency and productivity.
No doubt FWD will be ready in terms of the global competitiveness. And I take a note that you're practically humanizing the tech. So may I kind of leave that as that, because the rest of the panel are also like chatting and asking. So I need to call on them already.
Of course.
So thank you so much. If I'd love for you to stay, but I understand you do have a prior engagement. I will be calling on our other reactors as well.
Sure.
So may I request
thank you very much, and happy
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Lee. May I request for the other three, Henry, let me see, we have Ramu. I understand Simon may need to leave as well. I'm not quite sure. I just got a short note on that one. So again, I'm delighted to have top-notch reactors. We are lucky to have them here. Rare occasion having them all here. Second up, we have a seasoned telco and IT leader and heads the Union Bank's overall digital transformation, much so that it is now recognized as the best digital bank in the Philippines. Presently, he also occupies the position of COO, CTO, and SEVP of Union Bank of the Philippines, and he is also the chairman of the board of Union Bank subsidiary UBX. Mr. Henry Aguda, kindly open your video. With that, I'd like to call straight up the other three. Okay, we have, one more. I'm happy to have the CTO and CIO of Tonic Bank. He is responsible for heading the group financial, information, security, technology, operations, and heads digital IT for Tonic. Tonic is a transformative digital bank that provides retail financial product. And Tonic, by the way, just recently launched in the Philippines and is presently also in Singapore and India. So welcome here. I call him Ramu because he's practically a friend already. So Ramu, kindly open your video as well. May I go straight to the questions because we're kind of pressed for time. But before I do that, Henry, a couple of words from you and then followed by Ramu.
Yeah, Ida. Well, first, advance Merry Christmas to everybody and wishing that 2021 will be safer and more prosperous than the year that we want to exit right now. So, fantastic presentations earlier. I was listening not just to Simon, but everybody that came before him. So, you know, Ida, our journey with the fintechs in Union Bank have started several years back. And that was because of the theme that the fintechs are there to disrupt banking. And we said, instead of being disrupted, might as well partner with them. Luckily enough, because of those early partnership with the fintechs, when the biggest disruption hit the world and focusing on the Philippines, where everybody had to go digital payment, luckily enough, the early collaborations we had with the fintech prepared Union Bank to offer services that would address digital payment, digital onboarding, and while the fintechs were perceived to be the biggest disruptor then, it was actually COVID that disrupted the banking industry. And our collaboration with the fintechs has allowed us to endure the situation and actually flourish. In fact, because of the things that we've learned from the fintech space, we were able to provide services that are appropriate for the times. We've never had this many new customers signing up online. In fact, some of our estimates were the number of customers we were able to digitally onboard during the pandemic is equivalent to 5.5 years of onboarding customers in the traditional space. At the same time, we're able to provide digital payment solutions, luckily because of NRTS, InstaPay, and PESMED. So the journey with the pandemic would have been different had we not entertained and collaborated with our fintechs. So I suspect our partnership with them will continue on beyond 2021.
Excellent. Yes, I'm a fan of Union Bank. So, but I do have some very good questions for you as well, and Ramo as well. But Ramo, before we start with the questions, kindly give us some brief about Tonic and what's been going on.
Yeah, thank you, dear Ida and Henry. Excellent. Thank you for inviting us. Yeah, I'm CTO at Tonic Digital Bank. We have launched November 25th in Philippines as a beta launch. Our apps are in App Store. That's a good news. I would like to share before this Christmas. Merry Christmas to you all. Right now, we are only inviting invitation users only. We are in a beta launch. March, we are opening it to public, but probably 27th February or 1st of March, it will be available in all Filipinos' hands to experiencing the new banking as a new Tonic new bank. Probably there's a lot of learning over this FinTech 5 days. But I would like to repeat, being a new bank CTO, there are a few things that are very important, which one is the digital customer experience, digital product innovations, and customer servicing over virtual world. So all this, tie with all the business objective map to a digital IT strategy, it's linked to the cost efficiency. Why I'm putting this mainly cost efficiency, because each of the cost efficiency can be passed to different benefits to the customers. Because our biggest challenge in Philippines today is unbanked, underbanked, and financial inclusion. Most of the existing banks today all the focus is Manila, Metro Manila, and Cebu, because the main the main focus for their strategy are customer acquisition and servicing these two big cities, because they believe they are wealthy customers. They can afford to have the customer acquisition cost. But majority, truly speaking, financial inclusions are left over. Their needs, their wants are different. The expectation, the experience are different. Not just only looking for account switching people. I'm probably a couple of things, and I want to highlight it here. What is our strategy in terms of IT? The mobile first approach, because reach out to the people even living in a village, highly personalized in their devices, whether they are using $20 device or $2,000 device, doesn't matter. Covering up 24,000 different variation devices available in Philippines today, and you need to cover it up really, because the only way is how quickly you onboard them with a different KYC, applying latest technology, depends on their devices, and onboard them, do the AML check, bring them into the financial sector, and helping them saving, issuing the quick money they required. Probably the another one is cloud native, because the thing is today banks are, the disruptions in terms of, I don't have internet, I have no connectivity, my system have maintenance. There are a lot of issues still. Even big banks, you can see a lot of unavailability. So I'm trying to put always on auto scalable infrastructure, high availability over multi-cloud. And that what it helps to business is reducing the IT ops cost. I can lower the fee, pass the benefit to financial inclusions, underbanked, which help me to reduce the cost of customer acquisition and remote workforce enablement. The last point I want to emphasize is the open API. Even we are part of the BSP pilot. So that I feel the future is with the ecosystem partnership. It can be a publics, fintechs, and the traditional banks, connecting everybody, providing lending, payment, and aggregator service to the personalized service to each segment. All you need is how to easy to integrate with the partner ecosystem. Remaining all standard, but these three, I strongly feel that's the game changer in a post-COVID. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramu. Ramu, you answered a couple already of the questions that have been sent to us. And one was, how are you going to do the digital divide, which is basically you mentioned about the ease of opening accounts and the ease of using it and the cost in the use of the API. So you've answered that. I'm going to go back to Henry. Henry, what about your side in terms of the digital divide and the financial inclusion, reaching out to the outskirts? How is Union Bank doing this? What's your greatest challenge, and how are you rising above this?
Well, it's a tough question, Ida, but it's tough because if you ask our chairman, Tito Ortiz, it will take us 2 hours to explain that whole journey. So the tough portion there is how do we compress it? So first, our partnership with the fintechs allows us to reach more of our countrymen. And we've partnered with a lot of them because sometimes some of the people who may not pass our credit requirements are reached by the fintechs. And by collaborating with them, we are able to spread the risk between the fintechs and us. So, and you mentioned earlier that we have a subsidiary called UBX. UBX was actually mandated to leave no one behind for financial inclusion. And part of the thrust of UBX is to service the fintechs, for one, in collaboration with our fintech group, which is housing the bank, headed by RV. We will help them with their banking requirements. To some extent, we actually help them in their incorporation requirements as well, as they become more and more of a business. And second, for those fintechs that we feel we have strategic alliance with or a strategic alignment with, we invest in them. And I won't say all of the companies that we've invested in, but they were fintechs that are now into blockchain are now into treasury bonds and etc., democratizing even investment for the public. And third, we learn from them also. Part of what UBX does is to learn from the methods and the expertise from the fintech community. Now, bring that all together, that helps us with our aspirations for financial inclusion. Like Ramu mentioned, we also did the digital onboarding on our bank side. Not only are we partnering with fintechs, we're also digitizing our bank and making sure that it also has the same capabilities as a fintech. But keeping to the theme of our discussion, uh, I guess I'll end this by saying financial inclusion is an area where it's a big pie, and everybody that aspires to solve that should collaborate and help each other to solve that issue. And the fintechs allow us to see opportunities that are invisible to the banks, and they give us the reach and the coverage that we wouldn't have had we worked it alone. So that's how we've been addressing it, Ida.
Okay, very nice. It's synergy, collaboration, and I suppose also with the government in terms of the synergy and collaboration.
Most definitely, specifically with BSP. I joined banking 2016, and I had this impression that regulation would be very slow. But surprise of surprise, when I joined, the number of circulars that BSP has come up with over the years, from anywhere from cybersecurity to agency banking to encouraging the digitization of customer records to spearheading NRPS. In fact, I remember the statistics that they usually say they want to increase the 1% digital payment to 20%. They're on track to hitting 20% and beyond. In fact, because of COVID, we might end up with about 30% of all transactions digitized.
Yeah, I think they have
even be more.
Yeah, they have in fact increased that benchmark already to 30 and maybe even looking at 40 from what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Okay, I am left with one question and you guys need to give your final words. So I'm going to pick just this one question. And you see, when it comes to, and this is a macro question, it's really more for the board, but CTOs like you, and you're both in the board as well, can tackle this. Shifting to, again, a macro question, shortcut in lack of funding is to lure investors. Aside from integrity and capabilities, what are other traits you think investors will be looking for in candidate companies that are considering their investments, particularly in the Philippines, i.e., how can fintech be applied to help candidate companies or company increase its rating in this criteria?
So if I can go first, because in
Yes,
Union
please.
Bank, we're very clear with the criteria that we look for. So you mentioned integrity. Those are hygiene, integrity, capability. But for the fintechs out there who would want to partner with an institution like Union Bank, they have to understand our mission or vision. And sometimes we see a company, whether it's established for quite a while or it's just been put up a month or 2 months, when we see that there's an alignment in the mission that we want to do, which is financial inclusion, and that alignment is very tight, that tends to have the X factor, so to speak, beyond the balance sheet and the income statement analysis that we usually do. So it's alignment with the target investors' mission and goals. And once you have that, things flow easier. And the reason why that's very good is you will always run into problems in any partnership. But if your goals are aligned and your missions are the same, you'll find ways of solving those problems. So that's the X factor that we look for.
Very nice, very nice. And I totally agree with you because I do a lot of M&As myself. Ramu, your side, you're part of it. Please advise us.
This is excellent question, Meda, because I'm a greenfield, started in Starbucks, and today we have 3 offices. So funding is not that easy. So when we are reaching out, with the Start With Us PPT, talking about our strategy, there is a business and IT collaboration required. Number one, when we meet investor, most of the traditional Southeast Asia investor look for number of customers. customer acquisition cost. If you look at the fintech partnership, when you're meeting partners, the thing is how big you are, what is your volume, what is the fee model, how much I can earn. This is where come in. It's not easy to being a fintech, get into partnership with a bigger ecosystem or aggregators or financial companies. All we learned and start applying now is the profitability. That's the Tarak mantra in Indian language, if you want to say. The mantra is profitability. How you inject profitability in all the aspect. As a CTO, as a Mancom, what I'm pushing is the profitability not only by the theory of customer acquisition cost, fee model, but how you bring the cost efficiency in everything. Because IT is the one of the bigger contributor in any financial industry to decide when you are going to break even, when you start making your money. So that is where the launch cost and the scaling cost, you try to optimize as lower as possible. Then that benefit you are passing to the business, where you're going to project to the investors and partners to attract the investment. That is one of our strengths.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ramu. So basically, for Henry, we're talking about alignment. For Ramu, generally, it's still the ROI that we're looking at. So on a profitability, but if you actually combine that together, that would certainly be palatable to investors. Final words connected to our topic. Henry?
Well, congratulations to the organizers of this event. I guess this is appropriate for the times. Final word is, I think when the COVID hit, it came from left field. And true to the resiliency of people, especially in the financial sector, we're coming together and finding ways to not just survive, but flourish under the new normal. So my final word is we got here and we survived through collaborating with one another, regulators, the fintechs, the banks, and everyone else in the industry. I think we need more of that in 2021 and beyond. And I'm confident we will overcome the current situation and we'll come out of this one much, much stronger and much better. So again, Happy New Year to everybody and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Very, very nice. Thank you. Ramu.
Yep.
Final words, please.
Yep. So Ada's last word. People want financial services, not a bank. Let's take a bank out of banking. Nice. Let's all work together. And the post-COVID is promising. Happy Christmas all.
Yeah. Common denominator with all the four speakers, really, it's humanizing technology. Smart, secure, and astute financial management can spell the long-term success of a business. The companies who have very little capabilities in this area are the first ones to go down in a crisis. Coupled with tech, smart, secure, and astute financial management is also one of the core traits of an organization that can attract investors for obvious reasons. Just to add, let's not forget accountability, transparency, integrity, as this will always remain the core values of business success. And fintech can be used in various ingenious ways to ensure these are promoted, i.e. humanizing technology. Thank you, Mr. Lee Hao Zhuang. Unfortunately, he has left of FWD Insurance. Mr. Henry Aguda of Union Bank, Mr. Arrivuvel Ramu of Tonic Bank, and our keynote speaker, Mr. Simon Wu of Huawei. Have a pleasant weekend to all, and similarly, have a blessed Christmas. Thank you.